Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So we now have some more news on the updated Lord of the Rings Amazon Rings of Power series. Now it comes from actor Sean Astin, who played Samwise Gamgee in the Lord of the Rings trilogy. These comments are, I don't know, maybe a bit naive and I don't know, maybe ignorant from things that are happening, because at the Calgary Expo, he said that the promo or the preview for this new show gave him chills. I think it gave all of us chills for a different reason, but let's take a look at what he actually had to say about it. And the naive comment, I think that he's not actually looking too much into what they're actually doing and how they're destroying the lore of Tolkien, which I've done a bunch of other videos on. You can go check out in the description below in the playlist. But let's take a look at what he said on IGN. So it says, Lord of the Rings Sam Gamgee actor got chills from watching Rings of Power. He said, there's no way Amazon is going to pay almost $1 billion for a franchise just to screw it up. Now, I think that's very naive of him to say, because they're going to pay $1 billion for that franchise, and they've literally said, the writers and the producers of the show have literally said, we want to create the novel or the story that Tolkien never wrote. So clearly that means they're not going to be using Tolkien's lore. And I've showed in previous videos that they're bringing in characters, original characters that never existed in the books, that they're going to use for relationships, interracial relationships, other aspects of the story which never actually happened, just to portray this new woke propaganda, honestly, that shows there was nothing in the books that has whatever they put in this new goddamn show. It looks as though Samwise Gamgee is a fan of Amazon's The Rings of Power. Ugh. During an interview with Sam Maggs at Calgary Expo 2022, actor Sean Astin revealed that he's already seen the preview and it gave him chills. Here's the quote, I for one am excited. I saw the preview for it and it gave me chills. It looked like they got it. I've been saying the whole time, they're going to do it right. Oh, but they're already not. They're already not. We know that. There's no way Amazon is going to pay almost $1 billion for a franchise just to screw it up. Well, they already are. You can see here on my playlist for Lord of the Rings, Dead on Arrival, how they're changing the characters. They're going against what Tolkien wrote about certain races in this, like dwarves. How this dwarf pictured right here doesn't look anything like any dwarf, or this elf right here doesn't look anything like Tolkien ever described. They have bought it for $1 billion and they are just screwing it up, unfortunately, for everyone who likes Tolkien's work. Now it says the Rings of Power is set during the Second Age of Middle-earth, thousands of years before the events of The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, which Sean Astin was in, Lord of the Rings. Nevertheless, Astin believes the new series will bring a new generation of fans to the film trilogy. So he said, you just think, how long before it will be fresh? For an entire, at least 1 or 2 generations, it will be brand new. They'll end up discovering our version of Lord of the Rings as a consequence of seeing what will be new to them. So he's saying, they're going to go and see this show. They're going to watch this show on Amazon Prime or online, whatever the kids do these days. They're going to watch this show, which is going to lead them to go watch the original movies and then probably read the books. And they're going to look at the books, even go back to the Silmarillion and go, this has nothing to do with what they did in the show that I just watched. So why would I watch that show? So I've been hoodwinked to watch this show because I thought it was going to be what the book says. When they go and read the books after watching the show, they're going to be like, what? That's not in there. That doesn't describe that. Ridiculous. He also said it will bring new awareness to what we did. So it's all good. It's not all good. It's not all good. And if in the unlikely event it's not good, okay, I still credit people with being determined and trying and expressing themselves. And I feel that way about all remakes. You have classics that you think, please don't touch that. But the truth is, nothing can ever take it away. True, the movies and the original trilogies still exist. Like the Lord of the Rings trilogy still exists. The Hobbit trilogy still exists. If you like that one as well, even that did more damage to The Hobbit than what Lord of the Rings did initially. But let's talk about Star Wars. People have been completely turned off Star Wars because of what Disney did to the sequel trilogy and what they're doing now on their Disney Plus shows. People like myself have been turned off Star Wars because of what Disney's doing to it and what they have done to it. They've utterly destroyed it. So I'm going to say, yes, technically you can't take those movies away, but because they have changed the story so much in relation to Star Wars and what they're going to be doing with this story in Amazon's Rings of Power, because they're going to be changing the story so much, we'll see if it dampens or if it destroys people's hope for anything going forward, and if it destroys the story so much that people do not want to watch or go back and read the books that were the original source material, like they are doing with Star Wars. I hope it doesn't get to that, because I really don't want to watch Lord of the Rings and be like, oh, like I watched Star Wars. Because if I went back and watched Star Wars now, it's like, well, we know where it leads to. Disney absolutely destroyed it. And if I don't want to go and watch Lord of the Rings going, hey, the prequel series that they made is utterly destroying the story that actually leads to it, that was built thousands of years before the story in Lord of the Rings movies came out. If you destroy it that much, it could turn people off like it did with Star Wars. That's all I'm saying. And he says he still credits people with being determined and trying and expressing themselves. Well, okay, you can sort of express yourself in the way you're making the show or film, but when you say, like I said before, when the writers and producers say, we're trying to create the story or the novel that Tolkien never wrote, there's a difference between expressing yourself and creating your own thing just with the name Lord of the Rings attached to it, and then using that to push your own narrative in the story, which is what we're seeing right here with these two characters. You got Galadriel doing things that never actually happened in the books, and you got this kind of hobbit character that was narrating the trailer. So we don't know what's going to happen. And now this last bit says, it sounds as though Aston isn't too precious about his time as Samwise Gamgee and expects to see the Lord of the Rings remade someday. Oh my God, if they remade Lord of the Rings. He said, Tolkien as a master storyteller has created a work that will forever be reinterpreted. Forever, I'm just one Samwise. There will be many, many Samwises to carry the torch of the ideas, the language, and the heart of that character. Man, if Amazon remakes the Lord of the Rings trilogy, or does it in like an extended series like they're doing with Rings of Power, based on what I've seen already from the trailer and from other images and what they've done with the characters already, they're going to utterly destroy it. They're not going to just create a new iteration of the character just so people can watch it and connect with it or read it. They're going to create something that was never actually meant to happen. Now, yes, some of the stuff they changed in the movies, in Lord of the Rings movies, but you listen to them, the producers, the writers, the director, even Peter Jackson, and what they were doing with that movie and how they kept it as close as they possibly could to Tolkien's idea, feel like Tolkien's work. They didn't do what Amazon is doing right now. So I'm really upset that Sean Astin would be coming out and saying this when he was Samwise Gamgee, who arguably MVP for the story of Lord of the Rings. It's just unfortunate to see the things he's saying here. And obviously he hasn't looked into what they're doing with it, or he doesn't care how they're changing it so much from what Tolkien created. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, share this video out there, and thank you to my members at the Two Towers level, Daniel James and Sir Straith, and we'll see you all in the next one.